Okay, welcome to Week 10 of the Cavalier Insider Pregame Show. Andrew Ramspacker and Jerry Hootie Radcliffe. Jerry, how you doing, man? That's the Dap King Hootie Radcliffe. If you haven't seen the clip yet, make sure to check it out. As Jerry was given an education by an 18-year-old on the new hip greeting, I guess the way to describe it. Getting dapped up, as Hootie in your column he called it, used to be a man hug.
A man hug is what we used to call it.
Right. But rookie right tackle Eric Smith gave a demonstration to Hootie. You should really check it out on our Cavalier Insider site. But back to football. Virginia will take on North Carolina at 12:30 on Saturday down at Kenan Stadium. And the Hoos come in at 2-7, losers of 6 straight. Taking on North Carolina team that's kind of reversed its course a little bit. Started off 1-5, is now 3-5, and has the schedule to potentially finish 7-5. We'll get to that matchup in another segment. But let's recap last week. Again, another loss for the Hoos. They fall to Clemson, a top 10 team, 59-10, which was the exact same score as they fell to Oregon earlier in the year, another top 10 team. And Hootie, it's kind of been debated since that time. We've seen both now, Clemson and Oregon. Who do you think was better?
I thought Oregon was better. I thought they were more explosive, had more playmakers, just better all around, faster paced, I thought. And I thought Oregon's defense might have been a shade better than Clemson's too. Yeah,
Virginia against Oregon, I think, was down 21-0 early and was basically out of it by the second quarter. I think it was 28-10 at halftime. Brent Urban had that goal line stand that gave him a little momentum, but it quickly died in the second half. Not totally different from what happened against Clemson. For about a 12-minute or so stretch there, Virginia, I think, had 5 possessions while only trailing 14-7. The defense put together 3 or 4 3-and-outs. Anthony Harris had an interception to bring his total to 6 on the year. At that time, Hoots, what were you kind of thinking?
Yeah, I was surprised that they were able to hang with them that long into the half, and I wasn't thinking upset, but I was thinking that they might be able to take it to the fourth quarter and at least make a game of it. But yet I wasn't totally shocked when things imploded and Clemson started making some big plays, especially with single coverage by a freshman cornerback on Sammy Watkins, perhaps the most lethal receiver in the ACC. So once that starts happening, you're cooked.
Yeah, the game turned really on a David Watford interception. He sailed the ball for Darius Jennings, and there's a little miscommunication on that route. Clemson scores on that drive, brings them up 21-7 on the following possession for Virginia. Khalid Shepard fumbles around midfield. Clemson scores again. And then, just for the heck of it, they scored one more time. They drove about 80-some yards in less than a minute before the half ended to take a 28-7 lead into the break. And then coming out of it on Clemson's first possession, you talked about it, Tim Harris, the true freshman, he got an education on Saturday going against Sammy Watkins, one of the most electrifying receivers, not only in the ACC, but in the entire country. He was burned twice for long touchdowns, the second early in the third quarter, 96 yards, Taj Boyd to Sammy Watkins, where Tim Harris certainly got a little lost there. So these are all kind of learning moments for Virginia right now. Again, the young team, it's been stressed a lot. There's been 12 true freshmen that have played so far. As we look ahead to the future, because this season, obviously, bowl contention is over with after that loss to Clemson, what positives or negatives do you see going forward?
Well, just like one old football coach said one time, most of my team's coming back. That's the good news, and the bad news is most of my team's coming back. So I don't know. I'm not sure that's the case with Virginia, because I still think that Al Grove's last 2 recruiting classes, were not very good. And I think Mike London's first 2 recruiting classes were highly overrated. And I think that's showing up on the field the last 2 seasons. I think some of that is going to be flushed out after this season. And it seems to me that most of the real talent are in the sophomore and freshman, redshirt freshman classes right now. And the new class that will be coming in, just looking at guys like Keon Johnson and Eric Smith and others that we've
Right. This team is predominantly, it's basically dominated by most of that junior class, and the talent in the sophomores and freshmen. But those juniors, you talk about, obviously a guy like Jake McGee and Kevin Parks and Henry Coley and Daquan Romero and Anthony Harris. I mean, the list goes on and on. They're going to be very senior-heavy next season where they weren't this year. Only 8 seniors on the roster, which is the second lowest in the country. So potentially 6 true freshmen will start Saturday against North Carolina. We will look ahead to that matchup, 12:30 on Saturday in another segment.